Hello folks, this is Sullla once again, giving you another game from the World Cyber Games. This is game 2 in a best of 3 series between Team Canada and Team France. So I'm going to start by giving you the lineups here. This is on the picking screen right before they actually get into the game. You can see which champions were banned: Rammus, Karthus, and Kassadin for Team Canada, Rise, Fizz, and Graves then for Team France, and I'll get into who everyone is playing in the match as we get into it in just a minute or so. For those of you who missed the first game, it is up on the channel if you want to watch it. I should have it linked underneath the video if you want to check it out. In that game, the French team picked a very early game centered team composition, and that is Team France there, by the way. Their players getting ready to go into this game, and they got out to an early lead, but they ultimately were not able to hold that, and Team Canada was able to come back, and they're the members of the Canadian team as they get set to start this match. So should have this match just about ready to get underway, and there we go. So anyway, just to refresh give you the players in this game again, if you look on the left side of the screen, the blue side is the Canadian team. We have Big Fat Gigi playing as Twisted Fate, Hotshot GG playing as Nidalee, Odd One playing as Trundle and jungling, Chaos playing as Caitlyn, and Elements playing as Soraka. Then on the right side, on the purple side of the map, the French team consists of Soaz playing as Rumble, Kuja playing as Sona, Yellowstar playing as Anivia, Linak playing as Udyr, and Titus playing as Urgot. So we'll go through the matchups as we go through this game and talk a little bit about how everything is set up. As a reminder, if you didn't see the first match, these games were being played on the Fizz patch, so that was with the Season 2 Summoner spells and Season 2 Masteries, but it was not with the Season 2 Jungle. So this is prior to the rework of the jungle, when they made it so that the jungle minions would respawn more quickly and provide less gold and less experience. Right now, the Canadian team, it looks like, is dropping a whole bunch of traps down in bottom lane. By the way, notice that Elements as Soraka ran the safe route through the jungle. He did not run through the jungle, he went through his own base, and that turned out to be a good thing because the whole French team is hanging out around the red buff, trying to pick somebody off, trying to catch somebody at that lizard, but it looks like nobody walked through. So anyway, it looks like they may be trying to pick off somebody at the double golems here, so we'll keep an eye on this, see if they manage to catch anybody out on the Canadian team. Chaos and Elements doing the standard thing of taking the double golems right when they spawn, because they will respawn by the time the jungler gets down here, but it looks like the whole French team is going to be coming down here and trying to interrupt that. There comes Anivia, and it looks like they're just going to back out. Okay, so Chaos and Elements able to escape with no real trouble, but the whole French team is going to take those double golems and give them to, it looks like they gave them to Linak, who is jungling as Udyr in this matchup. So not that big of a deal. Yellowstar did take a little bit of damage. Linak a little bit slowed in his jungle progression. There it is. See him getting that leash from Yellowstar in mid. So a little bit slow on his start as opposed to the Odd One, who started right at blue buff and didn't have that, like, say, 10-second delay, but not all that significant overall. Okay, so as far as the laning matchups, we're seeing the top lane right here, and I'll remind you guys that because this comes from a stream, I actually do not have camera control. I'm just watching what was broadcasted here when this event was live about a month ago, as I put this up on my channel. It was played a little over a month ago right now. So anyway, in top lane, well, we'll get to the laning matches in a minute. Here comes a level 2 gank in bottom lane. Linak coming in here. He's going to try to get that bear stance stun, but nope, not going to be able to catch anybody. However, he is going to blow the flash on both Elements and Chaos. So both flashes down in bottom lane, and that could be a big deal. Meanwhile, Odd One, it looks like he may be trying to go for top lane. No, they're still committed to bottom lane, and Urgot has locked in on his charge right there. He's going to try to flash. Can he get off that last charge? I don't think he was able to finish off. No, Elements not dying there. And now Kuja is quite low as well. So I got a lot of action here in bottom lane going on early. Is anyone going to pick up the level 1, going to pick up a kill here and take first blood? Linak spending a lot of time down here in bottom lane. If you notice up on the minimap, Odd One, the Trundle player, is actually taking a lot of his jungle. And meanwhile, Kuja is going to fall right there, stepping on a trap in the brush, being held in place, stunned just for that 2-second period. Chaos going to use an auto attack of Piltover Peacemaker and then another auto attack and going to score first blood as Caitlyn, and that is a very bad sign for the French team. Did not want to give up first blood. Obviously, they don't want to give up first blood, but in this lane down here, Urgot, very early game focused. He is very strong in lane, but falls off later in the game. And if he starts to fall behind in lane, to the Caitlyn player, then Titus is going to be in for a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, while that was going on, if you noticed, Linac, the Udyr jungler for Team France, spending a lot of time in bottom lane. He was trying to help out that lane, trying to get an early kill. He's still only level 2 right now, and Odd1, well, we can't see the minimap right now because they put another little insert up there with the camera, but Odd1 took a lot of his jungle. Odd1 actually stole a bunch of his jungle creeps, and again, this is the old jungle where they don't respawn nearly as quickly. So Odd1 is actually level 4 compared to Linac only being level 2, so he's quite a bit ahead. Meanwhile, though, Hotshot GG in a lot of trouble. Soa's going to flash after him and will pick off that kill in top lane, so just straight 1v1, no jungler involved. Soa's able to take that kill and seize control of top lane. Again, rare at this level of play that you just see a straight up 1v1 kill in lane, but Soa's able to pick that up with Rumble and should be ahead right now in that lane for the foreseeable future. Right now, so that evens it up at 1 kill to 1. No real difference in global gold thus so far. Still pretty even. Here in middle lane matchup, we haven't talked too much about. Big Fat GG playing as Twisted Fate, has that nice Musketeer Twisted Fate skin. My favorite Twisted Fate skin, aside from maybe the really ultra rare pack skin. Up against Yellow Star playing as Anivia. Yellow Star actually does have the also very rare Vancouver Anivia skin from the 2010 Olympics that hardly anybody seems to have. So kind of an interesting matchup there. You don't see either one. I guess Twisted Fate you still see occasionally. Anivia just never seems to get played all that much. Anivia not that good in sort of a solo queue setting, much better in the tournament setting. Wow, did you see Hotshot with that creep micro using Nidalee Spear to get that last creep? That's pretty nicely done. But Anivia much better in tournament setting than she is in solo queue because of her wall. An attempt at a gank there, but it doesn't look like Linac is going to be able to get that bear stance stun off. So again, with Anivia, the reason why you take her is she's very good at using that wall to reposition people, and it turns out can often be very strong in these team games where you can set up plays, and just, again, any repositioning skill always very strong in this game. The other reason why they take her is, oh, look at that, Titus getting caught on a trap again, and he's really getting abused down there in bottom lane, and again, that's just a bad sign. Urgot needs to win his lane. If he doesn't win his lane, he's going to be in all kinds of trouble later. Anyway, the other reason why they have Anivia is because when she has blue buff, when she has her Glacial Storm running, or whatever her ultimate's called, I think that's the name, she's very good at nuking down creep waves, so she's very good at defending. And the team that Team Canada is running right here is very much a poke team. They have Nidalee Spears, and this is an AP Nidalee, it looks like. I believe that this is an AP Nidalee, as GG takes some harass there, and Odd1 continuing to lane trade a little bit with Linac. They have Nidalee Spears, they have Twisted Fate wildcards, they have Caitlyn's Piltover Peacemaker, so they have a lot of poke on their team, but they don't really have much of a team fighting presence for the Canadian team. So what they want to do is they want to set up a situation where they're sieging up towers, where they're just poking away, and they want to poke down the French team before they engage. So Anivia is a pretty good counter pick to that because it's very difficult to push a minion wave up to a tower against Anivia. Very good at nuking down those creep waves and making it more difficult for them to get in and jump in and actually attack a tower, siege up a tower, which is what Team Canada is going to want to try to do. So we've got a poke comp on the part of Team Canada. If they can use it effectively, should be very, very strong if they can get those blue buffs and just sit back and harass effectively. Team France, much more of a team fighting competition. Wow, Hotshot taking a lot of damage here, taking a lot more than I think he expected, getting caught out, and there's the ignite, and there's the kill. So Soaz now with 2 kills in top lane, 2-0, and keeping up with farm. So he is very far ahead now. He'll have his Hextech revolver when he goes back to base. So Soaz just dominating that top lane so far. Just has killed Hotshot twice straight up in lane with no jungle ganks whatsoever. So that is a bad sign for the Canadian team. They're still actually ahead overall in global gold. They're ahead by almost 1,000 gold in global gold because they're out farming the other lanes as Yellowstar takes that blue buff onto Anivia. But the fact that Hotshot has died twice in lane is very surprising. The sort of thing you don't expect. And here it looks like GG is going to get donated another blue buff. There in bottom lane, Kaox is going to get hit by that Urgot Corrosive Charge, but that is why Elements has picked Soraka for this game. Soraka is the counter to Urgot, and it is something you just do not want to see if you're going to be playing as Urgot. As Urgot, you lock on, you hit that charge, you lock on, and you start attacking. and Soraka immediately dumps her heal, and whoever you're hitting now has 100 extra armor, and Urgot just deals no damage. So Soraka, a great counter pick down there, and it should really limit the usefulness of Titus in this game. We'll have to see. Titus does already have his tier, so he's actually farming pretty well. He's only about 6 or so minions behind Chaox's Caitlyn, but his usefulness will probably be limited just because Soraka is such a hard counter pick to Urgot in lane. We'll see, maybe he'll be able to do better once he gets out of lane. Elsewhere, it looks like the farming stats are in favor of the Canadian team. In mid, it's pretty much dead even, 66 to 64. In top lane, though, Soaz has clearly gotten ahead in that lane, but the jungler is ahead for Canada. Odd1 has a lot more farm. He's up 15 minion kills, and then in bottom lane, Chaox is also ahead, although not by that much. Meanwhile, we do have a gank setting up top. It's a 3-man gank with Twisted Fate porting in. Here they go, engaging on Soaz, and it just needs one more hit. Odd1's going to finish him off. Now Linak has also entered into the fight, but he's in a lot of trouble here, and it looks like Anivia is coming up from bottom lane as well. Are they going to manage to catch Linak? Yes. Hotshot going to flash, going to finish that off in Cougar stance, and now Yellowstar, it looks, is getting up here as well, though the camera work is not great, trying to get after Hotshot GG, but Yellowstar taking a lot of damage here. He's getting very low, and no, he's in his egg form. He is not going to get the kill, does not manage to finish off Hotshot, and that is a huge mistake to hand 3 kills to the Canadian team there. That is really not what they needed. Hotshot had fallen far, far behind Soaz in lane. Hotshot going to pick up a kill and 2 assists from there, plus they're going to get a tower here and claim all that global gold from the tower. So that, just a really, really bad play there. Yellowstar making just going into a 1v3 there at the end. Probably should have just backed off from that fight or just pushed the tower in mid. May have been able to get that tower in mid instead. So a nice 3-man gank by the Canadian team, and then just sort of a disastrous counterplay by the French team. They're now very far behind. They're 3,000 gold behind, and that is a huge margin this early in the game. But it does look like they're going to respond by going for Dragon, and this is maybe a little sloppy on the part of the Canadian team. Everyone from France just reviving, Linak reviving and immediately rushing straight to Dragon. His bottom lane joining him there, and they're going to claim that Dragon uncontested, so that's going to help pull them back, now only down 2,000 gold instead of 3,000. That's going to help pull them back a little bit, but still, really big mistake in top lane, and that's going to help Hotshots in Italy get back into this. If you saw before, he was just getting completely destroyed by Rumble. Rumble's actually a pretty good counter pick to AP Nidalee. I don't know as much about the AD Nidalee that's become more popular these days, but Rumble, a very good counter to the sort of traditional AP Nidalee. Meanwhile, Hotshot in a lot of trouble here. He's getting chased by that man-bear tiger, and he is going to need to get out of here, but it looks like Gigi's going to jump in there with Twisted Fate ult and going to save him, still having to use that ult just to save Hotshot, and he's not up in top lane farming, which is where I'm sure he wants to be right now. Instead, he's just sort of running around the map trying to avoid getting caught, so not the best positioning. However, that pressure from Caitlyn and Soraka, very strong lane pairing. I think I've talked about this in some videos before. It's a very strong lane pairing, gives you a lot of poke, puts a lot of pressure on lanes. They've managed to get their tower as well in bottom lane, so with 2 towers up and 2 kills up, Team Canada in a very comfortable position right now. Like I said, about 3,000 gold ahead now with that. And if they had been able to take that dragon, or at least defend that dragon, they'd be really, really far ahead. Inability to do that was an issue there. And that's really the best play that the French team has made thus far, is in grabbing that dragon. But they're definitely behind the 8 ball right now. They're going to have to be careful. The biggest advantage that they have right now is still in that top lane, where Soaz continues to be ahead. He's got the 2 kills, and he's almost 20 minion kills ahead. Hotshot has gone for a Rod of Ages on Nidalee. But mid has pretty much been dead even thus far. GG has fallen behind a little bit now that Anivia has hit 6. Yellowstar now has his ultimate, and it's really easy for him to nuke down creep waves while he has his ultimate. So Yellowstar's starting to get a little bit ahead there. He's up by almost 20 minion kills. But bottom lane has just been complete destruction so far in favor of the Canadian team. Chaos is way ahead, and he's only likely to get further ahead because, as I said, Urgot just does not scale as well in the late game as Caitlyn will. And I know some people posted comments in the last video saying, hey, I've seen Urgot, he's not that bad late game. Well, I mean, it's not that he can't be good late game, it's just that he doesn't scale nearly as well in the late game as some of the other AD carries. He's a very weak AD carry compared to the others. Anyway, Odd1 going to steal that blue buff there, and that is pretty big, denying that blue buff to Anivia. The fact that those 2 towers have gone down has given the Canadian team a lot of access into the French team's jungle thus far, with both top and bottom lane towers down. They can invade and go after those red and blue buffs pretty easily. If they can take this middle turret, then they really will be able to start getting a lot of pressure on that lane. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. That appears to be their objective right now. That's why there's a lot of people in middle lane. There's 3 or 4 champs for both teams hanging out around that middle lane tower. So we'll see if they're able to get that. In the meantime, the 2 top laners, Hotshot and Soaz, just hanging out up there in top lane, and Soaz still seems to be getting the better of that matchup. Odd1 did leave the 2 little lizards at blue buff, so we'll see if he tries to finish them off. Now, he's actually engaging on Titus right now, tosses down the Pillar of Filth, but looks like Titus is going to be okay. He's real close to his tower, so he should be pretty safe there from any ganks. Anyway, Linux stepping on a trap, so any thought of engaging right there, probably not going to happen. Chaos in a little bit of an exposed position here, but again, just look at how much control the Canadian team has over the jungle of the other team. They're just running in there with reckless abandon right now, and they don't seem to be afraid of the French team at all. They also have a ward down at that blue buff too. It looks like they're hanging out around Dragon. Is Dragon going to respawn? I didn't take the timer. I don't think it's going to be up for another minute or so, but it does seem as though most people are going to be in that area. Anyway, Soaz, the Rumble player, is coming down. It looked like he might be heading down from top lane down to that jungle area, or down to that Dragon area, just in anticipation of that respawning. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. In terms of items, haven't been too many items completed thus far. Like I said, Urgot's finished his Manamune. I see a Gunblade. Wow, Soaz has finished a Gunblade, and what a random item on Rumble. You don't normally see that. They're trying to go after Titus. A nice pillar, but Titus is going to flash over it. So wow, a Gunblade on Rumble. That's quite rare to see that. Normally just go for a Hextech and that Hextech Revolver and then turn it into Will of the Ancients. But no, instead he's just gone straight for the Gunblade. Interesting. You don't see that often. Anyway, there is, right there, a flash stun on a gold card. Are they going to get Yellowstar here? He is very, very low. Oh, it says less than 50 HP. Again, can't click on him to see how much he actually had. So that was a flash gold card stun coming in from Big Fat GG. They were not able to finish it off, but they might be able to get this tower here, putting a lot of pressure on that. But no, Elements is actually getting trapped by Soaz right there, and now comes the Rumble ult. Soaz just going to finish him off. A lot of AP. Can't remember if this is before the Gunblade nerf or after the Gunblade nerf. I honestly cannot remember if the Gunblade nerf was in this patch or if it was after this patch. We are on this patch, so wow. Soaz now with 3 kills. He has all 3 kills for the French team, so he is going to have to be the one carrying him. And in fact, if anyone remembers the first game, he was the Udyr player in the first game, and he was kind of carrying the French team in that game too. So it looks like he's going to have to be the one to control this match going forward. As it turned out, Elements just getting caught there a little bit, not in position, and now the Canadian team again sort of not really in position where they should be. They're going to have to give up this tower mid because Hotshot's up in top lane. Hotshot is getting some nice push up there in top, but they're going to lose that tower. There it goes. Going to take their first tower of the game and pull back a little bit more global gold. So let's see if they choose to send somebody up there to top lane to deal with Hotshot's split push as Nidalee. Dragon is respawned though, so I would expect that the French team will just go and try to do Dragon at this point because they have 5 champs mid. Hotshot does have teleport. I don't believe it's up though. It looks like it's still on cooldown. Anyway, Linux gonna flash stun right there. Gonna use his bear stance. He's gonna catch Chaos, but Chaos is gonna flash out. There's the wall coming in. And a nice initiation by the French team, but they're not going to catch anyone, and Hotshot is still pushing in top lane. He's almost got that tower, so we'll see. Again, they're going to have to make the decision over whether they want to go for Dragon or whether they're going to send someone top, and it looks like they are going to send Soaz, the Rumble player, up in the top lane to deal with Hotshot's split push. So again, the strengths of the Canadian teams poking at the French team and split pushing, that's what they do best, but in terms of a straight team fight, that's not really the game that they want to play. As we cut to a Korean woman eating something. Okay, that was random. Anyway, as I said, French team is going to be much better at team fighting, so that's what they should be looking to do. Anyway, that Dragon is still up. It's been sitting up for about 2 minutes now, which is very rare at this level of play. Usually, as soon as those neutral buffs come up, they are taken almost immediately. And the Canadian team, even though they're ahead right now. They're not really in position to fight for this dragon. It looks like the French team is in better shape to get that. I see that Linac is still hanging out around there. Anyway, they've got Nidalee in top lane. They've got Caitlyn in bottom lane. They're not really in position to go for this dragon. So if the French team just groups up, they should be able to get this. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. It is warded, so Canadian team knows that they're going for this, but they just don't have people in position to take this. We'll see if Hotshot uses teleport. Yes, he is going to jump into the fight, teleporting to that ward. So, okay, they are going to get back here. They are going to get to the fight. Here is the Twisted Fate ultimate. They are actually doing a nice job of splitting the French team. Linac was separated very far away from the rest of the team, and he will fall. Now chasing after Kuja. Kuja needs to hop out of here, needs to escape. Look, oh, so much damage coming out from Hotshot's Nidalee with that Cougar Pounce. So they're going to score 1 kill. And it looks like they're going to turn this into dragons. So if they should be able to get this. I see Soaz hanging out around there. But in that fight, just able to split the French team really nicely. They are going to take that dragon. Now they're up about 4,500 gold, which is, again, very significant this early in the game. Yellowstar just tanked a Nidalee spear, and he is going to have to retreat. Hotshot's still chasing here. So right now, the Canadian team just has full control. That pillar just barely missing. If they had trapped Yellowstar on the other side of that Trundle pillar, that probably would have been a kill, as Hotshot is going to scamper out of there. But as Nidalee, he has so much mobility, he should be safe. Oh, and Titus going to eat a little bit of the edge of a wild card there, taking a lot of damage. So again, that poke of the Canadian team, that's what they want to do. Want to sit back and poke away there and get as much damage. Now, a Canadian team trying to go for this blue buff, but the other members of their team aren't really here. Caitlyn not here. I don't see Trundle being here, and they probably need to back out of this. There are a lot of members of the French team here. Soaz is going to get a kill on Elements off screen, and now it's a straight 4-on-2 over here, and that is going to be bad news for Big Fat GG going down here, and Hotshot just needs to run out of here. They need to stop trying to take this blue. I don't think it's going to work. In mid, Chaos is going to get that tower, but Hotshot now being engaged upon, and he's been locked on. He's going to try to flash over the wall, but Linac is right there, and there is the bear stance stun, and I don't think Hotshot's going to make it out of here. No, he's going to fall to Linac, so that really was not a good play by the Canadian team at all. They did get that middle lane tower, but they actually suffered 3 deaths there, and I don't think they killed anyone on the French team. No, they're actually behind now. They were ahead 5-3 in kills. Now they're behind 6-5. So they're still ahead in global gold, but that was kind of a sloppy play. Looks like they just got a little bit too greedy in trying to go for that blue buff. GG's Twisted Fate and Hotshot GG's Nidalee were both trying to take that blue buff, and they ultimately were not able to do so. And in the process, 3 members of their team ended up dying. Elements died off screen. We wasn't able to show that because, again, camera work not controlled by me. So Canadian team, like we said, still in good shape. They're still ahead by about 4.5k gold. Still ahead, but that was a little bit sloppy there. And in fact, Soaz actually picked up another 2 kills. He now has 5 of the 6 kills for the French team. So he was able to pick up, looks like he's going for Rylai's next, has the Giant's Belt, has the Amplifying Tome. So he is getting pretty strong right now, and they also gave a kill to Linac as well, the Udyr player. Look, he's been able to pick up Wit's End. So French team is not out of this by any means. They did take the lead in kills there. Nevertheless, Caitlyn also, let's see, Chaox's Caitlyn does have 2 kills, so he is going to be very strong. Looks like he's going for either Bloodthirst or Infinity Edge. We'll see which item he goes for next. And Hotshot getting caught here. Oh my goodness. Going to get caught right here by the entire French team. Use every ultimate on him. I don't think they needed the Sona ultimate there. But wow, Hotshot making a major mistake. Just getting caught there. He got swapped by Urgot. Another kill for Soaz. Used his Gunblade in that fight. His 6th kill of the game. He has 6 of the 7 kills for the French team. And, I mean, Hotshot, a great player, but making some serious mistakes here. That's going to cost the Canadian team a tower, at least, here in mid. I don't think they can get the inhib here, although GG is taking a lot of damage, but he is going to get that Soraka heal, and he should be okay. Still, that's going to cost them that tower in mid. There it goes, and that is a pretty significant loss. They lose a lot of map control when they lose that tower. And just not his finest game. I mean, we all know that he's Hotshot Nidalee GG, but just having an off game here and really in a lot of trouble. Odd One now also in trouble, but that pillar is beautifully placed, and it's going to allow him to run out of there with Big Fat GG's Twisted Fate coming in for support. Meanwhile, Yellowstar taking a Nidalee spear there, but he does have Sona there with him. He should be okay. And at this point, well, So relatively even game. Canadian team is still ahead, but now Hotshot in a little bit of trouble. Just barely pounces past that wall. He was nearly caught again, and not like I said, not his best game here. Anyway, as far as the rest of the team, looks like people are going to take the neutral buffs, go back and buy. I would expect that Baron will be the next big objective between these two teams. Dragon will be up in about 2 minutes, and then of course there's that Baron to look at. Anyway, in terms of items, Big Fat GG does have his death cap already. That's a pretty early death cap. He does have double Dorans. I'm not sure what else he's going for. Probably he wants a Lichbane at some point in time. Amplifying Tome could also be for Void Staff. Hotshot GG has he has a Rod of Ages and Sork's Shoes. Odd Ones Trundle has started with his Wriggles, pretty standard there, and then he's picked up Wit's End, so he's going to be pretty tanky, although he's the tankiest one, and that is a weakness of the Canadian team. They are not very tanky, a lot of squishy champs, which is why they just can't sit and team fight. They need to poke before, they need to siege up towers and poke, try to use Caitlyn's range to, oh wow, like look at that, that's exactly what they want to do, that spear on Kuja. They want to have Hotshot sit here and poke, they want to have Caitlyn get in some damage with her Peacemaker, they want to have Caitlyn sort of poke away at these towers. They don't really want to get into a big team fight, they want to rely on split pushing and poking in side lanes. Hotshot though, gonna get caught over there, he runs right into Udyr, so he's in trouble, and then there's an engagement in mid too, which we can't see. That Rumble ult getting a lot of slow, now Odd One's gonna be trapped by that, he's gonna flash over the wall, but he will die to the ignite of Soaz, and now the rest of the team needs to get out of here. Flash Bear Stand stun, that Sona ult not really hitting anyone. Chaos is going to get redirected by that wall. Elements has fallen up at the top of the screen, and now Chaos taking a lot of damage. He will fall as well, and that was just total disaster for the Canadian team right there. It looked like it all started when they got engaged upon in mid. I didn't quite see how that happened because the camera work wasn't there. Hotshot was poking up to the left of that tower, but he ran into an angry Udyr right there and kind of got stunned. That sort of set up the play, but I didn't quite see what happened in mid to start that off. Anyway, it was a nice rumble ult from Soaz that allowed them to pick off Odd One's Trundle, and then after that, a flash and a Bear Stance stun from Linax sort of set things up from there, and that allowed them to score 2 more kills on Elements and on Chaos. At this point, they could have tried to go for Baron if they wanted to. I guess that the French team thought it was a little too risky. Instead, they're going to try to take Dragon right here. They should, I don't know if they're going to get this Dragon. Actually, the Canadian team has revived, and they might be able to stop this right here. Kuja and Titus looks like they're going to back off from Dragon, and that Anivia wall going to protect the rest of the French team. Linax should be fine. He is Udyr. He's got so much movement speed. So, interestingly enough, the French team didn't really follow up that victory all that well. They got 3 kills in that fight. I think they went 3 for 0 in that fight, but they didn't turn it into any towers or Dragon or Baron. Anyway, we do have another engagement going on right here. Looks like Canadian team is retreating, and it looks like they're going to disengage without any other fight. Baron's still up, Dragon's still up, a lot of neutral buffs. Red buff is up for the French team, so that's still out there to be contested. Looked like the Canadian team was trying to take that red buff, but they weren't quite able to get there. And now everybody has drifted up to go back, farm lanes by. And let's see if somebody goes for this Dragon. The Canadian team is in position to do it, but they might have assumed that it was already taken. Looks like they might have assumed that it was already done, and they just are not going for it. Instead, Hotshot pushing back minions in bottom lane. Anyway, they should know it's up right now. And we might have everybody congregating for another Dragon fight. The game is narrowed considerably. The French team's is still behind in Global Gold, if you can believe it. There actually are 2k down in Global Gold, even though they're ahead 10-5 in kills. So this could be a very crucial Dragon fight. Let's see. Depending on which team takes this, they should be able to get an advantage out of this in the future. Oh, Hotshot going to get split off by that wall. He doesn't take too much damage, but he does get split off. There is the Dragon. Linac is going to take that, and are we going to have a fight here after this? Canadian team, oh, there is a Rumble ult getting off a lot of slow. Chaos going to use the net, should be able to escape. It looks like the Canadian team will back off. They should probably back off. They don't really want to sit and just team fight. But Soaz in a little bit of trouble here, though. Are we going to see that Twisted Fate ult? Yes, there's the Twisted Fate ult. There's the gold card stun. Can Soaz make it out of here? He's going to be stopped by a pillar. Oh, that wall from Anivia. Beautifully placed wall, and Kuja with a great Sona ult as well, allowing Soaz to escape. But wow, that is why people play Anivia in these tournament games, for the ability to put down that wall right there, which just absolutely saved Soaz's life, and then followed up with a nice Sona ultimate as well. Still, they are going to force Soaz to retreat. He did have to go back to the base. Minion push, getting a tower in top lane, completely unrelated to this fight. Oh, a nice spear from Hotshot. Took out about a third of Yellow Star's life right there. So what they want to do is sit back and poke, but the problem for the Canadian team is they don't have any blue buffs right now. They really need those blues, which is why it's so crucial for them to try to take that blue buff away from Yellow Star. With Yellow Star's Anivia having that blue, he can just kill any minion wave that pushes up to the tower, and without them having their own blue buff, they need blue on Twisted Fate so he can throw his wild cards. They need blue on Nidalee so she can just spear endlessly. Without having that, they can't really do the sort of poke comp that they want. They really need those blue buffs, and neither Nidalee nor Twisted Fate had blues right there, so it looked like they just realized that they couldn't push into the tower there. With that dragon going down, France has pulled the global gold differential closer back in their favor. It's still about 2K, but I mean 2K at this point in the game is not as much as 2K gold difference earlier in the game, if that makes sense. As a percentage, it's a lot lower. It's a much bigger deal if you're down 12K to 10K than if you're down, say, 37 to 35. Hopefully that makes sense. This is actually a very close game right now, and the fact that the French team has taken 2 out of 3 dragons has helped them considerably. Plus, they do have all those kills. In terms of items right now, we mentioned that Soaz got the Gunblade early on. I've seen him use it in a number of these fights. He also has Rylai's right now. Yellow Star's Anivia has Tear, has Rod of Ages, is finally starting to get some AP. By going Tear first, he didn't have a lot of ability power early in the game, but he does have the Needlessly Large Rod now, so he's going to start doing some damage. And if this game goes long enough and he can get an Archangel Staff, he's going to be really strong later on in the game. Interesting build on Titus's Urgot. He has a Frozen Heart, which is really kind of interesting. You so rarely see that item on an AD champ, so I'm not quite sure. I'm sure that he wants the extra cooldown reduction, but it's just an interesting item on him. It looks like he's trying to build tanky. He has no kills, so it's almost like they're using him more for his swap than really for his damage. So we'll see. We'll see. At this point in time in the game, Urgot's not going to be nearly as useful as Caitlyn, so they might just want him more for the utility of his swapping at this point than really for his auto attack damage. Anyway, tower did go down in top lane. It was not really contested by the Canadian team, so that's going to pull the French team to within 1k gold, only about 1,000 down right now. Right now, Hotshot is split pushing in bottom lane. It looks like his teleport is up, so he can jump into a fight if need be. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, the French team is pushing in top and in mid. It looks like they're going to go for this top tower. And I think the Canadian team is just going to concede this. They're going to try to trade one tower in top for one tower in bottom. Hotshot is going to take that tower in bot, and it looks like French team's going to take that tower in top. So, as I said, trading a tower for a tower. And let's see if the Canadian team can defend this 4v5. They'll be way ahead if they can defend this tower. If they can't, they'll be in trouble. Oh, but that wall, though, is going to catch Chaos out. He's going to get stunned by Linux. He is going to use his cleanse, but no, he's going to get stunned by Sona. A beautiful Sona ult. And down goes Big Fat GG as well. Can Odd Ones and Element make it back to the fountain? Yes, but that is 2 kills for 0, and that means that the French team is going to score this tower and this inhib. Meanwhile, Hotshot is in the base of the other team. He also takes a tower, so it looks like we might have an inhib for an inhib trade here. I think that's going to happen. I think Hotshot will get that, yes. So trading 2 towers and an inhibitor for both teams right there, an even swap, but the French team was able to score 2 kills in bottom lane, so that turned into an even exchange. I think I like the positioning of the Canadian team better. If they had managed to keep everybody alive in that last fight, they would have come out way ahead, because you can usually defend a base tower with 4 against 5 in this situation. If they had been able to defend that tower and Hotshot had gotten the inhib, they would have been super far ahead. As it was, 2 more kills for the French team. Now I had 12 to 5 in total kills. And the whole issue there was Chaos just getting caught by that wall. He wasn't able to escape. And then even though he used his cleanse, used his net, it looked like he had gotten out. Kuja able to run in there and use his Sona ult, and it was just a thing of beauty, that Sona ult, trapping all 4 members of the Canadian team, and that was enough to score 2 kills on the 2 most important people to kill, too. Able to kill Chaos's Caitlyn and Big Fat GG's Twisted Fate, the 2 damage dealers, and once they went down, there was no chance to hold on to that tower or that inhib. So once again, Global Gold is basically dead even at this point, right around 43k for both teams. Chaos just randomly ulted. I guess he was trying to get some free damage with his ult. Caitlyn ult, not useful in a team fight, but it was just instantly healed, so I have to feel like that was kind of a waste. This is a good position for the French team. Oh, they tried to engage right there. Soaz tossed down Rumble Up, but they were not able to engage. They were in a good position because in a situation like this, a straight up 5v5, the French team is going to win. Their team is just far superior in a team fight. Rumble ult, Anivia ult, both very good AoE damage in a team fight, in a way that no champ on the Canadian team really does. They don't really have any area of effect damage whatsoever. So this is, like I said, this is a good situation for the French team to be in when they just are grouped up together and it's a 5v5. However, there is a huge minion push going on in bottom lane, so they're going to have to send somebody back to deal with that. Canadian team in a little bit better shape with the inhibs being down. Oh, it looks like French team's going to take another dragon, and they're going to score yet. It looks like they should claim this one easily. That's their third dragon, and they're actually going to take a lead in Global Gold for the first time in pretty much ever. Instead, Canadian team might try to take advantage of this to sneak a Baron. They know that Anivia is back in the base, and I think that they can get this if they go in on it. They'll have a 5v4. Actually, no, a 5-on-3 because Sona is back in the base, but they're not starting it for whatever reason. They seem very hesitant to go after this. They see Linak coming in, and while Linak is going to scare them off this Baron pretty much by himself, they could have forced a 5-on-4, or really a 5-on-3 there because Sona wasn't nearby, but I don't think they realized that Sona wasn't there. And I feel like they could have gotten that Baron. Now Linak in a lot of trouble. He's going to get caught by Pillar. Meanwhile, though, Soaz has gotten onto Chaos, though, and this is very bad. Chaos going to use his cleanse and going to run out, but they've split off the AD carry from the rest of the team. That is a bad situation. Gigi going to pop his ult, and he's just going to pop his ult to run away. So they have left Odd One out to dry, and he's going to get absolutely bursted down by the French team. So what looked like a great engagement on Linak suddenly turning into a terrible fight for Team Canada. All due to the fact that Soaz was able to just jump on Caitlyn. As soon as he was able to jump on Chaox's Caitlyn and split him off from the rest of the team, that was exactly what France wanted. Chaox's Caitlyn has that Infinity Edge, has a Quicksilver Sash. Oh, actually, wait. Chaox actually didn't bring Cleanse. He had a Quicksilver Sash. Wow. Okay, so I guess that's why he bought his Quicksilver. He's already used it twice already. But anyway, that disaster of a fight is going to cost the Canadian team another tower in mid, and it's going to cost them their inhib as well, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble going forward. Let's see if French team is going to make a play for Baron or not. They're quite low from that last fight. They might not be able to do this Baron, and in fact, it looks like they're going to recall, and they're just going to steal the blue here. Again, the ability to deny those blues to Twisted Fate and Nidalee is really key in this game, so it looks like they're going to back and then just make sure that they're able to defend this Baron. They're going to ward it up, and yeah, everybody's going to go back. This does open up a play here. The Canadian team could consider just trying to rush Baron right here. I don't know if they'd be able to do it, but while the French team is defending this push in bottom lane, that might be an opportunity to go and rush Baron. It would be very risky, one of those high risk, high reward plays. So we'll see if they go for it. And yeah, Odd One is going to start it. Again, it is warded, but can the French team get here in time in order to stop this Baron? I don't know if they can. Odd One's taking a lot of damage, and it looks like the French team is going to get here in plenty of time. There is the flash stun. Odd One going to get engaged upon with Rumble ult, but he should be okay. He's actually going to escape out of here. And wow, look at this. Right now, Nidalee and Twisted Fate are going to try to backdoor in the French team space. Odd One going to flash over the wall. He is just running around in the jungle, just trying to decoy for as long as he possibly can to buy time for Hotshot and Gigi to continue this backdoor. And right now, they're actually going to force the French team off of Baron. They were trying to do Baron, but now they're going to have to go back to defend their base, or they will just straight lose the game because Twisted Fate and Nidalee can start pushing over base towers. If they just got another, the entire French team coming back to defend their base, if they had even 5 more seconds, Hotshot and Gigi would have gotten at least one Nexus Tower. Instead, going to be forced to leave. Now Gigi's going to pop his ult, and he's going to go over to Baron. Wow, can the Canadian team sneak this Baron? This would be beautifully done. Now the French team all went back to defend their base, and I don't know if they can get back in time to stop this Baron attempt. It looks like the only one close enough is Linak, and can Linak steal the Baron? Their only chance right here, and yes, he can steal the Baron. Unbelievable. Runs in there, steals the Baron. He's going to fall, but that Rumble ult coming out, followed by Sona ult, they are dealing so much damage. Let's see how many members of the Canadian team are going to be able to make it out of here. Another amazing wall coming out from Yellow Star, going to block off the whole team. Chaos, Odd One, Hotshot, all trying to run away for their lives. How many of them are going to get out? A beautiful pillar coming out from Odd One is going to allow, it looks like most of the team's going to escape. We'll have to see. French team is still chasing after them. Are they going to be able to make their escape? Here comes Yellow Star with that movement speed boost from Sona as the camera for some reason goes away, and he is going to get the stun on Odd One, so that is going to be another kill, and that inhib is dead meat because there's no way the Canadian team can defend it. So it looks like they are only going to get one kill there, so that was a really nice escape by Team Canada, But this Nexus turrets are in great danger. Oh, another beautiful wall right there. These walls are just causing so much damage to the Canadian team. Okay, so they're going to get one Nexus turret. It doesn't look like they're going to get the other, but that is a very big deal. And the French team is still going to have that Baron to play around with for the next few minutes. So they're going to have that for about the next 2 minutes or so at this point in time. And of course, they get the global gold benefit as well. So Linak with a huge play to steal that Baron, to just run in there. He was the only member of the French team that was even close. And it looks like he was just able to smite steal it away from Odd One. At that point, it was almost like a 50-50 shot as to which one of them was going to take it with their smites. But that is some pro jungling there to run in there and smite steal that. Anyway, that inhib is still down in bottom lane for Team France. They're pushing it back right now. Linak and Kuja are defending it. Meanwhile, Yellow Star and Titus taking another tower in bottom lane. Soaz is engaging upon Chaox's Caitlyn, but doesn't look like he's going to get the kill. And this is actually a good fight that the Canadian team could take on. They actually would have like a 4-on-2 in bottom lane, but I don't think they realize that the numbers are in their favor that much. And with Baron buff, they don't really want to take any chances. So let's see if they decide to give up this tower. They will probably just concede that tower and try to make a stand in their base. Meanwhile, Hotshot is still split pushing. He is way far out of the base, far up there in top lane. But Linak is also up there. And the 4-on-4 really does favor the French team right here. So has taken a lot of damage, but again, they notice that they have their 2 area of effect ultimates. They have Anivia, and Anivia, does Anivia have blue? I couldn't see. She does have the Baron regen. It's a little hard to see. I don't believe Anivia has blue right now. They have Anivia ult and they have Rumble ult, and those are the 2 that they really want to keep together. They want to continue engaging with Anivia wall, then followed by Rumble ult to prevent them from running, and then just pile on the damage on trying to get a swap. They can try to mix in an Urgot swap there as well. Anyway, Hotshot was able to run all the way back from top lane, but Hotshot's done a great job of pushing out that top lane. Notice that's going to give them a lot of time here in order to defend their base. The thing that the French team wants to do is they want to wait for these super minions to flood into the base, and then they can push on bottom lane. But that top lane is going to give them some breathing room, because it's going to take a long time before that pushes into the base, since Hotshot took the time to force it all the way out to that tower. Anyway, here we have another siege situation. They need to try to defend both that bottom lane tower and this middle lane inhib. So it looks like Chaox is defending up and top. He deals the most raw damage on the team. He has Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer. Wow, and wow is he strong. He is so much stronger than Urgot right now. It's just ridiculous. Chaox deals a ton of damage, so that's why he's in top. He can nuke down that creep wave the fastest, try to defend that inhib. Meanwhile, the rest of Team France is just nuking, just getting in a little poke on this inhib. This is one point in time where having Urgot really hurts them on the team. Urgot does not have much range for an AD carry. If they had someone with a little bit more range, if they had, say, Tristana right now, that tower would go down so fast, it would be ridiculous. But instead they have Urgot, so they're just getting in a little poke each time. They're going to continue to whittle down that tower. They have lost their Baron, though. Baron buff is down, but they are getting more damage on that tower. It is about to fall, so I expect as soon as that tower goes down, they're going to go in with the engagement. There is the Flash Bear stance on that stun, on the Hotshot. Not sure if he's the best target, though. Separating Hotshot from the team. Soaz is going to get a kill on Element, so Soraka is fallen. Chaox, they're dealing a lot of damage. Hotshot's in the back of the team. Are they going to pick off somebody? Yes, they are going to score a kill on Linak here. And meanwhile, Hotshot's still trying to chase. Oh, but a defensive Sona ult. Why didn't Sona use their ult earlier in that fight? But anyway, a defensive Sona ult is going to save the rest of the French team. So they're going to trade 1 for 1. However, Canadian team did take a little bit more damage to their base, and they actually have lost all but 1 tower. They've lost 10 of their 11 towers. So their base has taken a ton of damage, but they're still not totally out of this one. They did protect both of their inhibs, and that was the most crucial thing in that fight. They kept both of their inhibs up, and that one in top lane is going to respawn pretty soon. So once the one in top lane respawns, they'll actually be able to come out of their base and continue fighting. So, I mean, even though Canadian team is a good margin behind, they're about 5k gold behind, and they've been outkilled 2-1, and they've lost all these towers. The game's not over yet. Once that inhib respawns, like I said, they'll be able to come out of the base, and Caitlyn is really dangerous right now. Caitlyn is probably the most dangerous champ on the map. It's between Caitlyn and Rumble for most dangerous champ. Rumble, though, I mean, Gunblade, Rylai's, and a death cap is pretty insane at this point in time. If he can get off his ult in the middle of the Canadian team, they're just going to melt underneath that flamethrower. But there is that inhib coming back up. So again, all 3 inhibs back up for the Canadian team. And as long as your inhibs are all up, you can come out of the base, you can fight. All it really takes is one bad fight on the part of the French team, and they can lose this match still. Yellow Star lost half his health to one Nidalee Spear. Yes, Hotshot does deal a lot of damage with Rod of Ages, Deathcap, and Lichbane. So yes, this is a pretty good situation for the Canadian team, just in this tactical engage here, sitting back, poking with those spears. If Hotshot can hit on a few more spears, and then they can go in and fight after that, they might be in pretty good shape. There goes another one. Titus losing half his health too. Sona cannot heal up the damage nearly as fast as it's being done. Again, if they can hit on a couple more of those spears, and then they can go into fight after that. Look at that, Soaz losing his health. But Hotshot's going to get trapped by the wall, and that is bad news. Hotshot going to get swamped by Urgot, and Hotshot is going to fall. A huge, huge mistake there, getting caught by that wall. And now the floodgates are opening up, and Team Canada is in big trouble. Can they make it back to the fountain? Can everybody else make it out of here? Yes, they have managed to disengage from that fight, and now they're just continuing to poke away. Chaos is doing so much damage. I don't think they're going to be able to save this inhib, but they are. But the French team has gotten pretty low right there. They're taking a lot of damage. Odd One going to get separated by that wall. He's taking a ton of damage. There's another stun from Anivia. Can Odd One make it out of here? No, he's going to fall. So another kill for the French team. But again, Caitlyn being unanswered for, and Yellow Star is in his egg form. Now he falls. Now Titus goes down. Soaz dying as well. And that's a triple kill for Big Fat Gigi's Twisted Fate. Meanwhile, Linak trying to get the last inhib. He is not going to get it. So wow, 4 deaths on the part of the French team. I think it was 4 deaths. It was either 3 or 4. And then 2 inhibs going down on the side of the Canadian team. So again, who comes out ahead in that fight? I don't know. French team continuing to take more damage to their base. But, the Canadian team continuing to take more damage to their base. But they picked up a lot of kills there. And Baron has respawned. So again, if they can get out of their base, they may be able to take this Baron. I don't know if they'll be able to with those inhibs coming down. And Hotshot teleporting into the base. Wow, I didn't even see that. Hotshot using his teleport to go and backdoor an inhib. And now he's going to force Linak and Kuja to defend their base. Otherwise, he could just start taking down Nexus turrets. So that is, again, that teleport coming in so handy, taking down another inhib. And the Canadian team is not out of this yet. They've pulled it back to within 4k difference. And if they can take this Baron, they're going to be in pretty good shape. They should be able to get this. Linak is still lurking around. They're going to have to be a little careful of his smite. They just need someone to tank this. They need Hotshot to get in here and tank for them. I don't know why Gigi and Hotshot backed off so far. If they just, hung out there and continued to deal damage, I feel like they could get this. Anyway, here comes Linak though, and he does have that smite. Can he get in here and take this? Yes, he smite steals the Baron again. Oh my goodness. And folks, at this point, what haven't we seen in this game? Absolutely unbelievable. So that is just disaster for the Canadian team. They need that Baron to be able to hold their base. If they have the Baron, they can continue to defend their base until the inhibs respawn. But without that, it's going to be very, very difficult to hold on to their base here, with the other team having Baron on top of having all those super minions. This inhibitor is also quite low. Are they going to be able to hold this? They really need to hold this if they want to have any chance. They can't hold this once this third inhib goes down. So no, that is really bad news. Their base is going to be just flooded with super minions in a minute or so once they all push in. Chaos is taking a ton of damage here, but he's managing to engage on Yellow Star. Kuja did not hit anyone with that ultimate. And again, the damage of Caitlyn just in late game, so much. Going to try to pick somebody off with Caitlyn ult. I don't think it's going to work right there. But now Linak getting stunned by that gold card. Rumble ult coming out, but not really hitting anything. A bit of a waste there from Soaz. Not really able to get that much. So at this point, the French team just needs to back out. They took a lot of damage there. Just back out. Let Baron regen and Sona heals do their work. Maybe go back and buy, but if nothing else, just back out of the base. Let the super minions do their work. Wait for all 3 lanes to push in. And then once the super minions are just flooding into the base because all 3 inhibs are down, that's when they can go back in and engage. Wow, Soaz in a little bit of trouble. That Nidalee Spear going through, not really hitting anything. So it looks like the French team is indeed going to try that. That's really what they need to do. Just back off, back out of the base right now, and just let that regeneration get their health back up to full. There's no reason to be running around in the base on like half health. and those super minions are indeed about to make their presence felt. You can see that Linak is split off into bottom lane to help the minions push into the base. So Canadian team is actually, they're in a desperate situation. They need to just try to wait out the Baron, try to wait out these super minions, and just try to keep that one Nexus tower still alive. This is a really bad situation, but I have seen teams come back from this. Not bloody well often, but I have seen it before. So we'll just have to see. The biggest thing going for them is that Caitlyn is just super strong. Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper with a Quicksilver Sash. And of course they can keep jumping back into their Nexus anytime they need healing. Anyway, Hotshot super low, but he is going to survive right there. And he's going to make it back to the fountain. And meanwhile, Soaz is going to fall. Chaos picking up another kill. Now Titus running for his life. He's going to get gold card stun. But there are just so many super minions in the base. Titus is going to fall. Big Fat GG picking off the kill. Now they're chasing after Kuja. Kuja's in a bad situation. He looks like he's going to fall right there. Is Odd One going to survive? No. Odd One falls as well. Hotshot very low as well. Hotshot is going to fall. And Chaos is picking off more kills. Down goes Kuja as well. Can they manage to finish off the base? The Nexus is very low. Just too many super minions, and that's going to be game. Just too much damage dealt to the base of the Canadian team for them to be able to come out. And the French team is going to take this one. Look at their faces. They can't believe how close that game was. The face of people very, very happy that they won that match. Meanwhile, Team Canada going to have to go back, reconsider things, think this one over, and get ready for the third match. Because that's right, folks. We actually have a third match coming up. And that means it's going to be the last game in this best-of-3 series coming up next. So stay tuned to this channel. We'll have it up soon. Until then, take care. See you guys soon, and I hope that you're enjoying this series.